Okay, Australia, we love medium-sized SUVs. We're warming to plug-in hybrid electric vehicles and everybody likes a bargain. So what if you're about to introduce Australia's cheapest PHEV? Well, that's what's happening with the new Leapmotor C10 REEV, the range extender electric vehicle. Like the pure electric version introduced in Australia last year, this PHEV version of the Chinese SUV is smack bang in the middle of Toyota RAV4 territory. Will you give your heart away to it, or is this a hard no? My name is Byron Mathioudakis for CarsGuide.com.au, and I'm here to tell you more. Let's go. Leapmotor isn't fooling around here because the pricing is very aggressive.
At the time of filming, the base C10 style REEV, let's just call it REEV, was Australia's cheapest plug-in period, undercutting the EV equivalent by $1,600. To put that into context, the least expensive version of the much smaller and about to be discontinued Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross PHEV started at about 10% more. The same goes for mid-sized SUV alternatives like the BYD Sealion 6, while the Haval H6 GT and Mitsubishi Outlander PHEVs start at around 10k more. And few of these base rivals include the Leapmotor's electric front seats with layback snooze function, dual zone climate control, 14.6-inch central touchscreen, premium audio, 360-degree camera, panoramic glass roof, wireless charging and 18-inch alloys. The C10 REEV design from under 50k drive away, meanwhile, adds goodies like heated and vented front seats, privacy glass, a power tailgate, ambient lighting and 20-inch wheels. But the Leapmotor has a couple of flummoxing omissions, namely no Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, no traditional keyless entry, you have to tap a card on just one spot on the entire car to open it unless you download a smartphone app first, and no spare wheel, just a tyre repair kit. And here's another thing about the big Leapmotor. It doesn't look like an EV, and for some buyers, that's a bonus. Indeed, giving off very traditional petrol or diesel powered SUV vibes, its surprisingly sophisticated lines seem Porsche Macan inspired. Clean, handsome proportions that lend themselves nicely to family-friendly packaging. We just wish it was more driver-friendly.
One of the big appeals about the Leapmotor C10 is the sheer amount of space you get inside. So even though this is RAV4 sizing, it's closer to, say, a Kluger in terms of interior space. It's very modern, very tech-heavy, with this central touchscreen, which I believe is around 14.5 inches overall. There's an electronic driver display, and all the main vehicle functions are within this screen. So you have to go into sub menus in order to operate everything from the climate control through to the driver settings and various other things. You even have to do the screen in order to adjust the side mirrors and that sort of thing, which isn't everybody's cup of tea.
Which unfortunately just becomes more annoying the more time you spend with it. While fast, responsive and logically laid out, prodding the C10's touchscreen or fumbling with the fiddly little rollers on the steering wheel spokes is distracting. You spend an alarming amount of time concentrating with eyes off the road, scanning sub-menus for on and off switches. We're no fans of the card starter either, since it needs to be on the phone charger with every restart. Along with power window switches that work in reverse and the missing Apple CarPlay/Android Auto, it leaves you wondering if Leapmotor bothers with real-world field testing. Over-the-air updates are coming to rectify some of these issues, but not at least until September.
It's a very comfortable interior with very supple seats, lots of storage, obviously space to move, excellent ventilation, and it has a good sense of quality and craftsmanship in here too. So no rattles or squeaks in the time that we've been driving this car, and all the amenities are present, both the front and the rear. The rear seat, by the way, is equally spacious, and you get face level air vents, cup holders and extra storage and that sort of thing. Whilst further out back, the boot is very large for a medium SUV, but unfortunately you don't get a spare wheel, so you only get a tyre repair kit. which isn't really good enough for Australia nowadays, but that's most EVs and hybrids. Now, the big changes compared to the all-EV version, of course, is the inclusion of an internal combustion engine. And in this case, it's a 1.5 litre four-cylinder petrol engine, and it mates to an electric motor that drives the rear wheels.
4 driving modes are available. EV Plus, where the engine won't kick in until the charge drops below 9%. EV Normal, where the engine starts once the battery dips under 25%. Fuel Mode, which operates engine charging below 80% battery capacity, and Power Plus, where the engine is constantly charging. The latter is good for a battery top-up in preparation for EV-only driving in, say, congested city areas. Keeping in mind that the result is a plug-in hybrid that's meant to feel more like an EV, is the driving experience equally electrifying? Time to find out.
One of the most remarkable things about the Leapmotor C10 REEV is just how normal it feels to drive. So, and by normal I mean I'm comparing it to the electric vehicle version, which is very smooth, silent, and quite a modest drive. It's very easy. This continues that, except of course it adds the petrol engine, and I've got to say that it really gives the car the peace of mind of that extra range. And as a result, you can pretty much floor it and drive it anywhere and just not worry about that sort of thing. That's the whole point of plug-in hybrids. Now, I know I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but it's a very well integrated system. It's seamless. You have to really listen out for the petrol engine, which just works in the background to charge the battery pack. I'm not such a fan of the way this drives. I find the steering is a little bit inconsistent in that it doesn't quite have the linear progression of the better SUVs. It's certainly light enough in comfort mode, and it does weigh up considerably in sport mode, but there's nothing meaningful in terms of feedback or feel. But then you don't buy an SUV like this for it to be a dynamic driving experience. You drive it so it can be easy, and it really ticks the boxes in that regard. Because of the soft seating and the comfort bias suspension, the ride is very comfortable, and actually it seems really nicely controlled even at speed when you take kind of wide turns. It's a very easy and user-friendly experience. It's quiet, road noise is fairly minimal, and it's refined. So I mean, given that this thing is under 50k in Australia, drive away, it seems like a remarkable car. And for most people, they're jumping out of older used SUVs and that sort of thing, it will feel like the future. So it's a good car. It's not a driver's machine in any way or form, but it is pleasant enough and competent enough. So that's my take on the C10 REEV on these Spanish roads.
Except actually, that wasn't all. An extra day's driving after shooting this video revealed a few more flaws, namely just how little power you have in reserve for overtaking once battery charge drops below 20%, meaning fast overtaking can be a bit of a challenge. It's that slow. But the worst thing was just how intrusive the automatic braking is, randomly slamming on the brakes even at speed on freeways with adaptive cruise control going because it thinks you're going to somehow collide with a car in the next lane over. And that's on top of the way the lane keep tech sometimes fights you if you're attempting to change lanes by putting up resistance, or the trigger-happy driver fatigue warning chime that just bongs endlessly. You can switch these off, but they reset every time you restart the car. That all said, at least the good news is that Leapmotor is constantly rolling out over-the-air updates, with a big one set to come in September that addresses many of the driver assist issues. As it stands then, the C10's dynamic tune still feels very much a work in progress. Driving it hard and fast over nearly 400 kilometers at speeds of up to 130 kilometers an hour, we averaged an indicated 6.5 litres per 100 kilometers, or between 19 and 21 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is a far cry from the claimed combined average, but still good for a 2-ton mid-sized SUV. With a 65 kilowatt DC onboard charger, the C10 REEV can be fast charged from 30 to 80% in under 20 minutes, or overnight plugged in at home. Also pleasing is the C10 REEV's 5-star ANCAP crash test rating, aided no doubt by all the advanced driver assist safety systems that make themselves all too obvious. Find out more in my written review at carsguide.com.au. And finally, there's a question of the Leapmotor's warranty. 6 years is above average, while cap price servicing is provided, but the 150,000 kilometre limit is measly, and you're also required to visit your dealer every 12 months or 10,000 kilometres, which actually sums up the C10 very accurately. Very good in parts and off the pace in others. Would we take a punt on it?
Like the pure EV version, the REE version of the C10 is a very compelling buy, particularly when you consider how much space, features and overall practicality you get for the money. It's not really made for drivers, but that's not really the point, is it? Because from $45,000 drive away, it is incredible value for money. Don't forget, you can read the full review at carsguide.com.au, and as always, thanks for watching.